You are listening to Able Radio, simplifying productivity for small business owners everywhere. If you are looking for 1% improvements that add up to big results, this is the place for you. Every week, we learn about simple systems and tools that will help you build the business and life you've always wanted. Now here's your host, Zachary Sexton.
Welcome to Able Business Radio. My name is Zachary Sexton, and today we're going to talk about how to never forget anything again. Have you ever been at a party when conversations are flowing, then out of nowhere, a genius idea pops into your head? Maybe it's a solution to a problem you've been working on. Maybe it's the perfect gift for your sister-in-law's upcoming birthday. Maybe it's an email you need to send to an important client. If you've been having drinks, that might be a foolproof $1 million business idea. That's what the idea would be. So whatever it is, you're excited about the possibility of bringing the idea to life. The next day you wake up and nothing. Nada. Bupkis. You can't remember the solution, the email, the business plan. Annoying, right? The human brain is a wonderful thing. It's the organ that gave you all those genius ideas in the first place, but as far as remembering goes, it leaves a lot to be desired. Fortunately, we live in a time where technology has stepped in to help us in our low RAM, frazzled brains remember all of the things. With the right tools and the proper habits, you and your brain won't have to worry about forgetting anything ever again. So today, in this episode, I'm going to go through my setup and habits that I've created around myself so I do not have to remember anything. So first, my setup. Number one, Google Calendar. Google Calendar is free. It's mobile. It's on the web. And it's popular. It's everywhere. It integrates with almost every desktop and mobile calendaring application. The second tool is Evernote. Evernote's a free note-taking app on the mobile, web, and desktop, so it's in all three areas. It's available on Mac and PC, Android, and iOS. Evernote is everywhere. And it's also capable of storing other things aside from notes. You can store pictures, PDFs, MP3s, and many other file types. Like Google Calendar, it integrates with many, many applications. And the third tool, Trello. Trello is a free mobile and web-based collaboration tool that organizes your projects into boards and your work into lists and cards. So let's move on to the habits. Those are the three tools. Doesn't take much. Here come the habits. So I've never had a great memory. From birth to 26, I relied on my subpar memory to navigate the world. This bit me in my ass more times than I can count, missing important dates or events, forgetting about promises that I'd made to other people, leaving work half finished and never remembering to get back to it. At 26, I got an iPhone. It was the 4S. Like many people, circa 2012, I was already in the habit of carrying my cell phone around with me, so I thought, it might be a good idea. Maybe I should use this device to help me remember things. I started with events. I sat down and put all the events I could think of, every single one of them, into my calendar. As you may remember, my memory is not very good, so I tapped out at about 3 or 4 events. But I got into the habit of entering every time and place I promised to be into my calendar app. It's the now defunct Sunrise. Oh man, it was great. Microsoft bought them. Those jerks. On top of having a bad memory, I don't always give myself enough time to get to the places I need to get to. So I added at least 3 reminders to each event. That was my default. Default was 1 day, 1 hour, and 15 minutes. And if it was a super important event, I added 2 or 3 more just to make sure I got there on time. I'd also be sure to get the address of the location. Even if I've been there before, I would search on Google Maps to figure out how much time they estimated it would take, give myself a little buffer, and write that in the notes. I also started writing other things in the notes descriptions, like bring book I borrowed, or Dave's sister will be there. Her name is Sarah. She's going to school in Chicago to be an architect. Offer to introduce her to Uncle Mark. When reminders with especially robust descriptions popped up a day or an hour before the event, I felt like a freaking genius. It seemed like I discovered some secret life hack that allowed me to show up on time and to show up prepared. All I had to do, super simple, all I had to do was write the event down in my calendar as soon as I heard about it. Didn't matter where, maybe it came from email, maybe somebody asked me to be someplace, maybe it was text. All I had to do was that. I discovered calendaring. So, okay, maybe I hadn't discovered calendaring, but I was doing it. The habit of writing events into my calendar as soon as I got the invite, regardless of the location, was giving me magical benefits. I told everyone that would listen about the Sunrise app and calendaring in general, and I told them how it could work magic in their lives too. I had a few converts. Those who got into the habit of capturing saw similar benefits. Riding the calendar high, I thought about what else I could delegate to my phone. I was starting a meditation practice at the time. I used a 21-day guided meditation series by Deepak Chopra to help me get started. In addition to the mantras, the meditations came with various centering thoughts like, who am I? What do I want? How can I serve using my unique abilities? The answers that came out felt useful, but forgetful me would forget them. So I gained another habit. After finishing the 20-minute meditation, I would open up the Notes app on my phone and take a few notes. I ended up doing the meditation series more than one time, and I was able to see patterns in some of the thoughts my subconscious mind was bringing up. Those notes ended up giving me clarity on where I wanted to take my career. I had discovered journaling. I started taking more notes for personal reference. I would create a new note from books I was reading or classes I was taking or videos that I had seen. As my reference material started to grow, I moved to Evernote so I could enter my notes on the computer, and so those notes could sync back to my phone via the mobile app. I could also organize the Evernote notes into notebooks and stacks of notebooks so I'd know exactly where to find the reference material when I needed it. The notes proved extremely useful for learning and review and reflection. But I still had one major area of my life where my terrible memory was causing problems: my projects and my to-dos. I tried using the note-taking app for this, but the list would get too long and I had no easy way to prioritize actions in the Notes app. Small, unimportant tasks were mixed together with larger, important projects. I also continued to struggle with due dates. I fiddled around with a few to-do list managers and eventually stumbled across Trello. I was sold. It was visually appealing and very easy to use. So I started with two lists. The first one was one of all my projects, and the second one was all my small to-dos that had to be done. I put the most time-sensitive and important actions at the top of my list. At any moment, I could look at those two lists and know what I needed or could do next. I looked at Trello constantly. If someone asked me to do something, I put it on the list. I drag and drop cards there to make sure I was always working on the most important thing. I had discovered the to-do list. Showing up on time is a good quality. Learning and reflecting on what you've learned can lead to a more thoughtful existence. Becoming someone people trust to follow through on their promises, that's life-changing. The world is full of forgetful people like me. If you can be the one who always remembers, you will be more useful than most. Never forget again. That's how I did it. I started with Google Calendar, then Notes and Evernote, then Trello. The habit of capturing and externalizing my world came first. Then I started to organize the material in a way that was useful to me and the people I work with. We'll talk about this in future podcasts and future articles. If you're not signed up for the email list at zacharysexton.com, I'd encourage you to do so. I've got even more tips and tools there. But externalizing the world, organizing it in a way that's useful to you and your team is what I teach my clients. I get the work out of their heads and into a trusted system. I do this so they never forget. I also do this so they don't have to waste cognitive energy remembering. Want to create your own never forget system? I'd encourage you to follow my discoveries. If your calendar is not airtight right now, start there. Then decide on a single place where you're going to keep all your notes. You don't have to go digital here. Paper notebooks have a lot of benefits to them. Then find a to-do list manager that works for you. I do recommend something that you can put on to your phone. Want some help creating your own never forget system? You can join me and 15 other entrepreneurs in an exclusive productivity training starting this September. You'll learn the tools, the skills, the habits needed to create and maintain your never forget system. And it doesn't stop there with the never forget. That's the first thing. And that's the outcome of the overall course. You're going to create a personal dashboard with all of your commitments. Everything's going to funnel into one visible place, one visible location, because when you can see it, you have awareness. And when you have awareness, you have choice to pull in the right work at the right time. So you're not going to have to look, oh yeah, I've got those websites bookmarked, and what was that thing I was thinking about? Or I know it's in my paper in basket, or that's in my email, or somebody texted me about that the other day, or I think somebody tweeted, or was that Facebook, or was that a LinkedIn notification? Man, we have stuff coming in everywhere. If you get in the habit of collecting it into one location and then organizing that with lists that makes sense to you, and that's a big part of what the course is going to be, at least the first half of it, the first 2 weeks of the 4-week group. You can call it a boot camp. I don't want to think of it as a grind, because it's not going to be a grind. It's actually going to be fun. Most of the things that we do there will be a relief. But boot camp is the best word I can think of, a virtual online boot camp. That's geared at giving you clarity, so you can see all your projects in one place. Reducing stress because you're not letting promises fall through the cracks. Increasing your freedom because you can choose the best work to work on at the best time for you. It'll increase your productivity because one thing we'll be learning later in the course is how to start less but finish more. It'll increase your organization with nice lists of up-to-date projects and next actions. And it will improve your focus through reduction of multitasking and mind wandering, because your mind won't always be going. It won't always be thinking, oh yeah, what's that thing I need to be doing? Oh yeah, remember that thing. Ooh, tomorrow. Okay, don't forget that. Let's tie a shoelace around my finger. No, we got a better system than that. We've got technology for that. We've got, and if you want to go analog, there are analog methods, but we'll mainly be dealing with the technology, the skill set, the toolkit, and the thing I'm actually most excited about is the community. I know the few members who have joined are very successful, very smart people. They just have a hard time getting some of their stuff organized. So we're going to talk about that in 5 interactive lectures, where part of the time I'll be giving the instruction, part of the time you'll be working with other members of the cohort, and then part of the time you'll actually be implementing the work in real time. Because learning is really a social thing. We learn best by observing and interacting with others. A lot of times when you hear something or you read something in a book, it's hard to apply, but this will add that social aspect to it. We'll also have some lectures in case you don't get something the first time around. They'll all be recorded, and we'll also have some supplemental training videos for you. So we'll go into specific criteria. It's like, oh, okay, I didn't quite get how to make that list, or how to automate that, or how to put that in there, or label it, or all the little things that make a system hum. You can go and watch over and over and over again. The thing that is making it a crazy good deal is for this time, and probably in future ones, but definitely only at this price for this one, I will be doing weekly one-on-one coaching calls with everybody who joins. So you got 30 minutes every Friday or Saturday. Time depends on your time zone. I've got Calendly, which you can book. Actually, a couple members have already booked out their times for the people who've joined already. And then we're going to have an online group. So that's going to live in Facebook groups, and we'll also have a place in Trello to connect and talk with one another. So these are going to have real-world examples, in-depth case studies, weekly exercises, a onboarding and offboarding survey, so you know exactly what you improved on? Did you improve on your collection and organization? Did you improve on your optimization? Did you improve on the limiting the number of projects you take on at any one time, or renegotiating some of those projects? So you'll actually be able to put a number on it. Be like, oh, I was this much productive and now I'm this much productive. I created a spreadsheet. Don't worry about it. If you join, you'll get to check it out. But the whole idea is that you can't afford to be keeping things in your head. Externalizing work, visualizing work, optimizing your work because you can see what you've done. All of these things are there to really help you know and understand your work better, so you can be truer to your word because you know what commitments you have and you're not overextending yourself. So you can have more energy because you're not always thinking about what's next or what did I miss? Oh my gosh. It gives you the ability to turn ideas into reality consistently. Like I was reading my article before, I was not good at this. I trained myself. I had to put bumper guards up. And if I can make this system work, I know you guys can too. And I've seen it with a lot of my one-on-one coaching clients. So it's all about creating this system for you, and will give you the confidence about knowing what's worth pursuing, what's not, and what's next. Because you'll see it. You can see it. That's the thing. I'm going to keep saying that over and over and over again because this is an audio listen-only podcast. You can see your work, and when you can see your work, you have so much more control over what you do. So like I mentioned before, the spots are limited, and we've only got a couple, 2.5 more weeks to go before we close down because we're having our first live session September 4th, that Monday at 5 p.m. Central. We're going to do a bit of front loading, so that one will be a 90-minute session. The rest on the September 11th, the 18th, and the 25th will be all hour-long sessions that Monday. And on Friday, you'll have that 30-minute one-on-one coaching call. You can the whole time be connecting with the community in the Facebook group as well as on Trello. And a wonderful thing about the Trello application is you can @mention people. So you can @mention me throughout this whole course, and we'll get whatever issues you need worked out. So $197 for one 90-minute plus 3 one-hour group coaching sessions, 4 30-minute one-on-one coaching sessions, a wonderful entrance and exit productivity survey to track your results, private forum to connect, support, and share with your cohort, lecture recordings plus supplemental videos, and one complete dashboard for your work. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, coach@zacharysexton.com. I'll put the links to the page where you can find out more and join if this makes sense for you. It's over at zacharysexton.com/clean slate. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next Productive Wednesday.